true.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it's Moira was of interest because we saw a lot of Dr. Repulsor. We still see a lot of Dr. Repulsor, and that's where people were starting to bring up Moira. Why not pick up Moira? Eventually, it happened. You know, Sync Esports, I think, was the first team to actually show, or maybe it was Tree at the time. But anyways, the point being,
I think BMG run it as Suicide, but then Sync started running it as support for Insania. So.
That's what I think it was, yeah. Anyways, the point being, so, again, as usual with trends like that, a couple teams are trying to, then it was realized, wait a second, this is not just a counter-pick support hero. This is actually just a really solid support hero with what she brings to the table with her skill set. So, yeah, again, I can't say I'm really surprised at all that Moira is now a go-to support option for a lot of teams, it feels like. As of late. So a lot of thought being put into this fourth pick here from Shrek. They've been right-clicking the Legionnaire for a while. Wonder if that's who they'll end up with. Nope, they're going to go with Madman for now at least. So their Suicide option perhaps.
Yeah. Gives them extra sort of scale into the late game. I mean, it's something that you don't always need to have. Like, we've seen Malakun really do a bulk of the late game heavy sort of lift in that respect, but they decided to pick it up here, really. It's quite useful against Moira to an extent, because you can actually disjoint the Shards of Harkon while you're in lane with the barrel roll, as well as, I think, with the Stalk as well. So pretty decent in that respect. Also, just a hero that can scale well into the late game. They've got Midas most likely for mid, and then they'll pick up their either support or jungle here for Ogre.
Interesting there. Now, I want to say Nullstone seems like they're the only team that has been running a little bit of Lowstone recently. I feel like they've been doing it. Asuka has been playing it a little bit. I don't know how factual that is, but
I know Reason been playing it a lot in scrims. I don't know if they've been picking it in competitive, but I know they've been picking it a lot for Zane actually in scrims.
Okay.
Like the last couple of scrims have been like spam picking it. So but I think in terms of actual competitive games, Nelson I've been mainly picking up. It's a very, very strong hero, honestly. Like, it can contest, and normally we see it in drafts that are sort of AoE centric, which this one from Nullstone really isn't, to be fair. But it's still a solid hero regardless, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you see right there. Yeah, they have played it a couple times more recently, so yeah, coming into mind right there. But anyways, gonna run it here. Yeah, I know. I agree with you. Even when he was picked up a couple times before, we stressed that point. This is a hero with a lot of burst potential. Definitely a very solid Suicide option. So not too surprising to see that here picked up by Nullstone. They finish off with Ophelia, as we kind of expected, going the jungle route. Now again, it's an Ophelia. You're picking it up into a Cthulhu font, so that's always a little bit risky, knowing that you're doing that. And there's the Dark Lady to finish things off for Nullstone. This is a hero that we have seen a couple times as of recent. Again, most notably, Flensmeister for Sync, getting that 816 GPM, I think it was, on it recently, and in their victory of whatever game. I think that was against Shrek. So, yeah, this is a hero that understandably has a lot of carry potential and arguably one of the best in the late game. So.
And there's the right hero to pick though as well, because they needed something that was very, very strong in terms of the late game, in terms of the actual physical presence, because Nullstone had nothing else really going for him. Obviously, Lodestone, Bub was more a Cthulhu. They don't really offer a lot of late game damage, and she's going to. Dark Lady's going to have to contend with Malak and add Man in the late game. So they needed a hard carry that could really scale very well into the late game and be a real threat. For Ogre. And also, I mean, although they are playing against an Ophelia, which sort of suggests that perhaps Ogre are looking to push, I mean, they've got a Madman on top of it as well, so they're on like a dual core lineup with an Ophelia, so they can't really push too early. Obviously, when we saw the game with Sync, obviously they didn't really have a lot of late game scaling, and that's what allowed them to push very, very early on. But with a dual core lineup, I don't think Ogre can push too much. So yeah, the Dark Lady pick, the sort of greediness of it should be intact as well.
Should pay off for them. Yeah, Beaver Bank going to end up playing here. Now, again, we were talking about yesterday. I know that they're using a rigger, but one of the interesting things that we noted was Fuzzy Sloth was actually playing the carry role in a couple of those games. In the second and the third game, even, he was playing the Salamon. Now, you brought up the point that it just so happened that they were running hook heroes in both of those games, and maybe he's just not as comfortable as Beaver Banger, perhaps, running the hook hero. So, but yeah, Beaver Banger is in the Dark Lady role here. Again, not a big surprise. And they do have Asuka back. I know it's kind of obvious here, but just to point that out. Obviously, he wasn't here yesterday, unfortunately, for them. Although the ringer actually did pretty solid, other than the, unfortunately having to go part. But it happens. Life happens, right? So, and unfortunately, down to the losers bracket. Again, it was so close. And it's kind of a double whammy, because not only were you so close to defeating Sync in the winter finals, but on top of that now, if you happen to get a rematch against them, again, you're going to be down now 1-0 from the start in a best of 5, whereas you could have been up 1-0 in that grand final. So
I mean, if they're close to beating Sync with 4 members, I mean, with 5, I mean, they got the best shot, right? So,
yeah, that's true. Anyways, so yeah, we'll see how it all plays out today. Obviously, just getting things started here. A pause to kick it off. And seems like, especially in this Nullstone matchup, we have a lot of pauses because teams that are facing off against them may want to make sure that the server is good to go and checking it out. So understandable, again, being the USC server here. So it's just on Shrek now to determine when they are good to go. But yeah, they're running the dual core, as you mentioned, the Madman, the Malik in here. A lot of physical presence definitely coming out. So we'll see how it works out for them in the end, but knocks on that Malikan. Definitely formidable Malikan player, as well as that carry role, and going to have to keep him toned down earlier on, most certainly. But again, I'm glad we're seeing a lot more Moira, though, lately.
Yeah, the hero is just like really, really awesome though, and you can kind of play like anywhere. Obviously, we saw BMG player in the Suicide. We haven't seen that. I don't think we've seen it once actually in the Suicide since BMG have run it for Boxy. I guess it makes a lot more sense maybe just putting him in the support role. But either way though, I think he's just a very, very strong hero. Like his skill set is very unique as well, which something that Honda doesn't really have, like the ability to have like the increasing sort of catch potential with ephemeral forge on a support player. Just everything's just really awesome about it, really. Yeah. In terms of its aggressive dual lane potential, though, I don't think that's really the way you want to be playing. I'm just wondering if Nullstone are going to look to run an aggressive dual lane, but they won't though, because obviously they're going to need someone to babysit this Dark Lady, so that will be the Moira. And even though like, there is an Ophelia in the safe jungle, there's no point that Ophelia should go there if there's no other lane to be with him as well. So.
Well, got a little bit of time here, so kind of one of these side things here. Might as well talk about something else. First off, have you tried the Grim Hunt yet? I think I might have brought that up before, but
no, I still haven't played it, unfortunately.
You haven't played it yet? So awesome. Sorry. Gotta hunt those critters and whatnot. Anyways, having a little bit of fun with that. But speaking of a competitive side of things. So we're at a spot. Obviously, we're gonna be wrapping up here with the World Finals and everything coming up, and usually, and it's safe to say that after a big event like that, we eventually have the big balance changes that happen and big balance patch and whatnot. But I'm kind of curious. I'm looking at heroes right now that are still ineligible because being newer. I'm trying to figure it out. So we got Deadlift, Kane.
Oh man, Deadlift is
Taro, yeah. Is that it? Is it just those three? Taro, Kane, and Deadlift, I believe. I think it might be, yeah. Anyways, yeah, Deadlift, though, you think out of those three is...
Mate, like, you play him in the offlane, and he's just so, like, his E-spell is ridiculous amount of harass you can put on the support when you play him offlane. It's actually ridiculous. Been playing him today, like, I've just... Oh, man, I'm not even good with him, but that hero is just insanely strong.
Yeah.
Like, you get, like, first bloods on the supports and stuff. It's really, really strong.
He's going to be a very, very interesting hero when he comes out. And, yeah, whether or not changes are going to happen to him. Obviously, with the newer hero especially, it happens to have some changes sooner than later, just after getting a feel. So
it's
I don't
cool
know
hero,
what's going to be happening. But, yeah, great hero.
That resurrection is cool.
The resurrection is going to be for big plays and big fights, definitely. And I'm excited. I agree with you, though. I think he's out of those three. That's definitely going to be pretty cool to see. But, we've done it in the past where we think about what heroes we're actually going to see. I know there's the famous one where there was Pearl, I think, was a part of that. We never saw her.
And Bushwhack, practically. Both of them were like, oh my god, this hero OP, and then like, no one picked it up or played it, so...
We'll see. We'll see when that time comes. But obviously we still got plenty happening before that happens, and that's a good thing, too. Loadstone, he's going to actually take some good pressure right here, and he's okay, yeah. He does have the rocket drill, so it's going to be fine in the end. I was a little bit worried for him for a second, but that's right. He has a rocket drill, so he is good to go. Take some good harassment, though. Going to use those trees early on and have to use a bit of that regen. So a little unfortunate. Got the ward of sight down, however, and the counter ward you see by Fine is just out of range, so well placed right there. Going to be able to lock down Ophelia at least a little bit with the early farm. But nothing aggressive coming out from either side. It's pretty typical lane setups here, it looks like. Got Malik in short lane, so no aggressive lane again, though. Like talk about, especially when you have a Cthulhu Fawn, there could be that option of going aggressive, but
definitely
they choose not to.
It's because Moira isn't the greatest aggressive dual laner though. It doesn't have as big of a presence really as say like other aggressive dual lane supports really, because like a Blitz is one like, perfect example, has the ability to sort of escape, whereas Moira really doesn't. If you get picked off, you're out of position, which normally you are in the aggressive dual lane, you can just feed. So they decide against it, even though they do have the Cthulhu.
Yeah. Look at this up here, Madman, Mighty Marcus. He's not afraid to be in the face of the support here. Obviously, feeling pretty comfortable, especially being level 1 for the time being. Now, as the levels start adding up, I'm sure he won't be as ballsy here, but takes advantage of at least the time of the game, and of course, the region he has on top of that early on. But again, keep an eye on that to see if that perhaps bites him in the ass eventually. As bottom lane, again, Lodestone taking some good pressure. Glacia's out of mana, though, and Lodestone knows that, so going to put the auto attacks back into him. Madman's positioned further than Moira here. Moira is going to go out
Madman
of it.
It's really, really frustrating to play against as a support because his spells do so much damage earlier on, and it's obviously so hard to actually sort of get damage off because of the stalk. So he can easily go toe-to-toe with Moira because he's got the Iron Buckler as well. So it's very, very hard for Moira to really box him out. And not only that, Dark Lady doesn't have the strongest lane presence until like level 4, level 5. So as you can see, yeah, it's really hard to really sort of harass him much and even have a potential to kill him, so
yep.
It's annoying, that's for sure.
Gets that Iron Shield right there, so to help mitigate even more, of course, and take advantage of that agility within it. So anyways, other matchups we got here, of course, the nice one, Midas versus Bubbles here in the middle lane. It feels like we've actually been seeing this matchup a bit lately for whatever reason, but so far Midas 7-2, Bubbles 7-3, so pretty even back and forth battle here between Masera and Fuzzy Sloth. Again, Fuzzy Sloth been getting a lot of attention as of late. For Nullstone Gaming, being a big-time player, and even stepping up in the carry role as we saw yesterday once again. So,
I talked about him before. Like, he's just such a solid player, really, really solid. But yeah, this matchup between Midas and Bubbles, it's actually quite even. It really comes down to just the plays, really. I think it's probably about 50-50 either way. Maybe Bubbles slightly ahead, but Midas can spam out the wave a little bit better. So. Again, it depends on room control, depends on any incoming ganks, for example, but overall it's kind of 50-50, really.
Okay. Oh, Lodestone, he's not in the best position right here. Double damage Glacius. If she gets a freeze off, she will. This is very possibly. He's going to dodge the sword throw right here. It still might not be enough, though. Trying to run away, health potion. It gets a little bit off, but eventually will be taken off, and Malikan's just too fast with those boots. One more auto attack. Should do it in right here. There we go. Bloodlust kill comes out, so... Yeah, well played. Good rune control, obviously, coming out from Glacius as well.
Yeah, if he didn't have that DD, they weren't going to kill him. So just, really nice rotation, and they did get the kill onto Lodestone, so... Nice. And it just the Malakan, like you compare the lane presence between Malakan and Dark Lady. Obviously, that sword throw does a lot of damage. The slow is very impactful, but also the positioning, obviously, because you can jump towards it. Whereas Dark Lady doesn't have the same really lane impact, really, and that's why Madman's really, really harassing up here a lot. He might even kill the Moira, actually.
No way. Is he actually going to? There's the stun coming out. The Mana Sunder as well. Madman is level 5 though. It's going to come back. He gets the stock off, and one auto attack should do it. There we go. Takes out Moira. So you're stressing that. Earlier, especially when it has a 3-level advantage some way, somehow. I mean, not much
like
work done.
Unfortunately, you can't box out Moira. You can't box out Madman, kind of at all, really, particularly not with a Moira, because you don't have that guaranteed nuke. Kind of, the Shards Harkon isn't a guaranteed nuke, particularly against a Madman, because you can just stalk and dodge it in that respect. And yeah, and like I said, Dark Lady doesn't have the greatest lane presence either, so she's not really a big help. So it's kind of like a 1v1 between Madman and Moira, and obviously Madman's going to win that at the end of the day, kind of thing. So yeah, just nice kill though from Mighty Marcus. Like, you can tell he knew exactly how to play this lane as well, though, because right from the start, playing very, very aggressive up on the lane, and now he's got this kind of presence on the lane that he's not threatening to kill. Like, you look at Lodestone down bottom, and like, he's having to sort of use all of his spells, all of his mana, and the presence and the control of Madman here is just definitely showing. He's level 6 now as well, and yeah. I mean, already he's kind of won the lane, so it's a nice play from Mighty Marcus.
I mean, I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to Cthulhu Font here, but it doesn't seem like he's been the most involved. He is coming over right now, but you see as he does, I mean, it's going to be, well, Madman falls back. I don't think he necessarily saw him as the Warrior Sight's down here just blocking the camp, but just had a good feeling and simply going away at that time, so...
It's because of this ward of sight here placed by him. It blocks the hard camp on the left, so Cthulhu has to farm on the right hard camp, which is a lot far away from the lane, so his impact is obviously very, very much reduced because of that. So, yeah, just nice ward placements. I mean, he tried to counter ward it here, but unfortunately it's just out of vision, and because of that, not only is his farm impacted, his impact and presence on the lane as well. So.
Oh, this is interesting. Middle lane, both of them. No, that was the stock, okay. Minus the invis that he did have and wears off right there. He just comes out of it, and almost wants to bait something out of Bubbles, have him come up. You do see also Glacius coming over. They're going to go in first themselves. Transmute not going off. It does come off. Has the freeze. And down goes Bubbles. Madman actually even getting credit for the kill right there as he threw out the barrel roll at the last second. So they just collapse onto Bubbles. And this start right now, I mean, it is just all Shrek. 3-0 hero kills, 2,500 gold lead, 2,100 experience lead here.
Yeah, just nice rotation again from Glacius. He's picked up the Ironstone as well, actually, which is an interesting investment in that. I think he has been controlling the runes very, very well, actually. Every single 2 minutes he's at least checking, and obviously with the Ironstone, it's very useful for that to happen. He's actually got an Ironstone invisibility rune as well, actually, so could even see him go for a gank again middle lane if he's not careful.
Yeah. Yeah, Lodestone again, feeling the pressure. Lodestone's still only level 4, so yeah, you just really compare him to that Madman. It's not really comparable. I mean, the GPM especially, and then the 2 levels higher on Madman, just so much better. Now, Dark Lady, again, she's getting okay farm here, 330 gold per minute. She has Ghost Marchers, has the Ring of the Teacher, but, I mean, even she's having to constantly play fairly defensive here against this Madman. You can tell with their positioning right now. She's not up in the creep wave. Yeah. She's constantly sitting back, knowing that Madman can apply some good pressure onto her. And has to play it safe. So, yeah, really opposites right there. Bottom lane, Lodestone, he is going to be able to rocket drill away before a follow-up stun happens. So he's going to be fine, but we're going to see a pretty aggressive tower push here. Ophelia, though, falling back. No, she is coming back in with the Minotaur here. So we're going to see if this is a tower kill or not. Back to the top lane. Dark Lady taking some good damage once again, but Madman falls back before any turn potential happens. But, yeah, I mean, I go back to Cthulhu Fight. It really feels like what you got hasn't been the most active.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but like I said, I think it's because it was the ward was actually blocking the left hard camp. Now that has gone, he can farm this hard camp, and obviously if Madman shows himself in lane, then he's going to rotate over and really try and help Dark Lady. But luckily Madman's playing a little bit defensive, but they're looking to try and find him here if they can.
Well, do they have dust is the question. I don't... They do. Moira does have dust. So yeah, you see Dark Lady almost dropping right there. Now Madman knows something's up. Dust from Moira. Needs to use it right now. Okay, never mind. Doesn't use it. And going to be fine. I guess they missed a trample, so not worth wasting it.
It was just honestly poor execution on both what you got and Moira. Like Moira used shots of Hocket on herself very preemptively. Actually stunned the creep wave, did not stun the Madman. Confident charge missed as well, and Dark Lady couldn't initiate because she had about 100 HP. So again, this Madman is just really running. Nullstone around a circle right now, and he's got 300 GPM in middle lane actually.
Yeah, Bubbles trying to turn this around. Glacius here as well to try to secure a kill. Gets the freeze off. Midas though pretty far away. Don't know if he's going to be able to get there in time. In fact, Glacius the one that's in trouble, but no, she will be fine too, and Bubbles falls back. So, good attempt on the kill right there. Got a Kelpid used at least. You do see Madman. He's coming back in. He's going to stalk in right here. He needs Midas, though, without, or maybe not, actually. Holy crap, doing some good damage right there. Again, he's a 3-4 build, so it makes sense. Able to do plenty of early damage as far as the skill set goes. Not enough for the kill, though, but at least it will box out Bubbles to fall back to base here. And now he's going to kind of distract Cthulhu Fun a little bit. So, yeah, this Madman continues to kind of be the focal point here, the reason of success for this Legion team so far.
Lodestone bottom lane.
Is he dead? He's probably dead, isn't he? Yep, Ultiform comes out. He doesn't have his rocket drill. He just came up. Sword throw, 1 second. If he hits this, yes, he does, and he ports in for the kill. Oh, my God, he went over the ledge. That's unfortunate. Delays it a little bit, but he still gets it, and he ports out.
Yeah, really safe play. Coming out from Nox. But yeah, like it's just it goes back to the offlaners, and that's why the gold lead and experience lead is just so much difference between Nullstone and Ogre. Like bot lane, just Ogre destroyed that lane with both Glacius and Malakan, and then obviously top lane Madman destroyed really the Dark Lady and Moira. And to be fair, I think it's like obviously Mike Marcus and played really well, and obviously Oscar. I mean, he didn't. I don't think Oscar played bad. It's just the draft, lane matchups. Honestly, top lane talking of Madman. Might be in trouble.
Yeah, again, though, not really. I mean, he's kind of just stalking around, keeping them guessing, and he's going to be fine in the end. You'd figure between the silence, the mana sunder, the stun, I mean, they could possibly do something here now, but...
Not when he's level 7, though, like, and Steam Boots up already this early.
True. Oh, transmit! It got it off! That looked weird. It looked like he actually did take cover right there, but he got transmitted, but like as he was in the animation.
Yeah, well, the take cover is like only 0.5 seconds.
I guess he only level 1.
Exactly, so it still got hit, but yeah, and that's the thing. Like when one lane goes bad, like it impacts all the other lanes because normally, like a full elephant maybe try and set up a kill mid, for example, on the Midas, but obviously he has to sort of maybe try and focus a little bit up top, for example. And so when one lane goes bad, it really does have an impact all the other lanes, unfortunately. So.
Yeah. Middle lane, here we go. This is a big chance. Shatterstorm activated by Nullstone. They were going on to this Ophelia. Deny on the tower as well. And Ophelia will be picked up. So finally a kill happening in favor of Nullstone. And again, they deny the tower on top of that, so it's still dead, but at least a positive there in that sense. Now, it did, granted it took all 5 of them collapsing on the middle lane to kill Ophelia. So that's kind of the negative at the same time. As you see what Shrek is doing. Madman's still pushing out top. You got Malakin still farming out bottom, and the GPM's definitely speaking to being in favor of this Legion team pretty heavily right now. So it's a start, but Nullstone definitely still needs a lot more. And Dark Lady getting that sustainer and eventually the Rune Cleaver is of course going to help that. But you know, again, this is one of those heroes though that ideally she needs that supporting cast to do well earlier on, get those early portal keys, become active, cause a distraction if anything, and allow her to buy time for farm. Right now, it's not really happening necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, she does have good GPM though, good farm so far, which is really the most important thing. She's the only one that's really doing well at the moment, and yeah, I mean, because even though she's got good farm, like she's gonna be farming for the next sort of 20 minutes anyway before she can really have an impact in this game. She's gonna go Rune Cleaver because I think she has to really. Then she's got to pick up Stronger Ned, and that she might be in trouble here. She's
gonna dive right into them. Glacius though, he's not reacting. Okay, I figured he would have come out with a freeze or something. I don't know if I guess he's just waiting for a better opportunity. There's the freeze now coming out. You need to see Morris here with the illusion, though, and a nice stun from her. At least saves Dark Lady for now, gets the charging strikes off. In the meantime, Cthulhu comes in now, able to chase down Dark Lady was Madman, gets the kill, transmute on to Cthulhu. He wants to finish off Girlie. She's not going to happen, though. Cthulhu has a trample. We'll have to use it defensively in the end. And with the haste run, he will be fine. But yeah, they eventually do chase down Dark Lady, and they do get the kill in the end. So a little bit of a funky initiation there, but it worked.
I think actually that was the right decision to make. Although it looked really weird, I think it made the most amount of sense. The reason being is because, well, actually, they might try and find Cthulhu. No, Cthulhu's going to be fine. Yeah, the reason being is because I don't think Madman and Glacius could kill Dark Lady from full HP to nothing. So what he needed to do is that Madman needs to sort of do his combo, sort of back off a little bit, bait the charging strikes out from Dark Lady, which he did, because charging strikes into the Madman, and as a result, when he did that, Glacius came out, ice imprisoned and secured the kill. So it was actually the right play to make because I don't think they could kill him when Shining Strides was still up from Dark Lady. So smart play from Cluckmark, nice patience.
Yeah. 13 minutes into this game right now. Again, Shrek getting a little bit more of a lead, even still only the 1 kill for Nullstone Gaming. So definitely wanted to pick up on that most certainly. And I'm trying to look at their portal key progression. I mean, Cthulhu's getting there. He's sitting on red boot still. And actually they do find Madman. Rev Ward's down. This should be a dead Madman finally. And this has got to feel good for Nullstone. Will it actually be? Yes, it will. It looked like he almost was going to get away for a second there. But no, they do kill him finally for the first time this game after he started 3-0-0 in a suicide roll with nearly 300 gold per minute. So at least slowing him down there. Beaver Banger getting credit for the kill as well. That's obviously big. And she is now very close. I think she already has 1 broadsword. Just needs a second one to finish off that Rune Cleaver. So it's going to be overall a fairly good timing for her. So yeah, we've been stressing the Madman and his success, but it hasn't necessarily slowing down Dark Lady a whole lot. She is still managing her good farm. So again, that's the good news for Nullstone here.
Obviously, the only bad thing is that even after she gets Rune Cleaver, she's going to need like 10-15 minutes of farm, and by that time I think Ogre are going to start trying to put like a stamp onto this game a lot more in terms of either towers or Congo, for example, with when Ophelia picks up her Astrolabe. And, you know, Bubbles having a poor time because he got rotated from Madman and Glacius twice. And same goes for Lowson, had a very, very hard time in lane. So, yeah, I think the most important thing is to see if they can get their farm, for example. If they can get the portal keys up, that could be a big thing in terms of actually trying to turn this game.
Yeah. You know, again, we've talked about Lodestone a couple times, and there has to be some kind of reason why we maybe don't see him a whole lot. And do you think this is kind of one of these games that's showing it a little bit? Like, he may not be the strongest suicide potential, I guess, like, because of his skill set. It's bursty, but it's not necessarily the best handle.
The most important... I remember the biggest reason why he sort of started falling off is he did receive those nerfs, and I think it was actually to the mana cost of the rocket drill. Very, very high mana cost. Like, he used the rocket drill, like, the first level. Do you remember? Like, he got sort of rotated from glaciers, like, before the lane even started, and he had very, very low mana, and so he has to play a lot defensive, for example. And you compare, like, Man, the Stalk's only sort of 60 mana, and obviously very hard to sort of catch him. But, yeah, it's probably the reason as well, honestly. And he does need that portal key to really be impactful. Whereas Man, like, he's happy with red boots, for example, in terms of the laning phase anyway. So, yeah, you're probably right. And now they're actually losing their ancients as well, unfortunately. So, Ogre are doing a really, really good job of actually controlling the map now because they've got this advantage from the laning phase.
Yeah, they should have gone Salamon, obviously, here. So. Cthulhu Font, he was scouting them, stealing their ancients, but he really couldn't do much by himself. So, kind of just one of those unfortunate situations. Had to watch and cry about it. Meanwhile, top lane, they're looking to go on a Dark Lady right here now. Mammon by himself. Nice Arcane Vortex. They're all going to TP into that. Very well played, and it will stall them from jumping on a Dark Lady. So, yeah, good use of that indeed. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, also a good distraction because Ophelia is going to be picked off. So, Nullstone starting to get a couple of kills now as they get their third one of the game right there. The second time on Ophelia here.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really nice Arcane Vortex, because I'm pretty sure they either both were going to die, or at least one of them, because the portal key was already out from Midas, so they needed that delayed sort of factors to run away. They're going to try to start split pushing mid as well, because they're losing top, which would be a good decision. Like, I mean, Darklight, does she have one broadsword already? Do you know?
I think she has to have one now. Yeah, I thought she already had one earlier, so she definitely has one by now.
Yeah, nice.
And it should be coming up here.
Yeah, so, and then obviously the portal key slows from Bubbles and somewhat to Cthulhu and Lodestone as well. So they're just a little bit further away, but if they can get those, you know, they're going to be in at least an okay situation.
Yeah. Malakin, you know, haven't really talked too much about him, but again, Nox, as you would expect, is doing his job. 500 gold per minute. And Sanitarius and Whispering Helm already finished. I'm sure, you know, it's the Shrunken Head. Wouldn't be too surprised to see that. It's usually just the good follow-up pickup now. And, you know, it gets here like Dark Lady and just a lot of magic presence here on the Subborn side. It just makes sense. So, yeah, probably going to be seeing that. I believe, again, that was the second broadsword purchased by Dark Lady. As I say that, you do see the top lane up here. It's almost as if Shrek is trying to set something up, and maybe middle instead, but Moira falls back before they can take advantage of that there. So they will know that she does have the Rune Cleaver now, so it's kind of, you know, keeping that in your head at least. That, okay, expect her farm to start climbing up here. Let's push middle, they say, on the side of Shrek, and should be an easy tower kill. Oh, maybe not. Moira's coming in with the Arcane Vortex. Is good to go. Nope. Dead Illusion really quickly.
Oh, Glacius.
Is he in trouble? Oh, yeah. He ran into Dark Lady by herself.
I don't know what he was doing there. Yeah. That was like really weird. Like he did that before. Like he did like an ice imprisonment from him, then just sort of walked away and then just came back and died. So that was like, really weird. Seeing as his team was mid, so that was really strange.
Yeah. That was well, I mean, I guess a little bit of distraction there, but can they kill the tower? Vulnerability comes out. Malakin, ooh, he had a chance to go in right there. Chooses not to, though. The tower will fall in their favor. And I would think, I mean, are they going to keep this going, actually? Yeah, no, clear up the creep wave and fall back is exactly what they're going to accomplish here. So, yeah, Nullstone taking care of business in that sense, 6,400 gold lead. But, I mean, you look at the experience lead, though. They were doing a lot of grouping up there, and Nullstone taking advantage of that. The experience slightly going in their favor now, as far as the overall, at least. So, Dark Lady up there with Malakin, basically, neck and neck here, as far as experience goes.
If Dark Lady can get a Shrunken Head, for example, that's when they can start taking team fights. They've got Portal Key now on Bubbles as well. Perhaps they can find maybe a pick on maybe like the Ophelia, the Madman, even the Glacius. Any kind of pick off would be really, really important to actually delay the push here from Ogre.
Yeah. Invis Midas, he's looking around. He's level 11 right here, so no level 3 chance to beat just yet, but he still has plenty of burst potential, has a Portal Key to help him if need be. He's just going to continue to scout out for now. 30 seconds remaining on the Invis. We'll see them pushing middle right here, so this could definitely set up pretty well, actually. With some TP support, he can get some nice transmutes off. This is definitely something for Shrek. Nullstone needs to be very careful about it. Revward, oh, that's a ward aside, okay. I thought it was a Revward for a second. Just ward aside. The Arcane Vortex off to the side. In the meantime, I believe Malakin got caught by that. Bubble's able to avoid as well, but now Moira, she's basically in no man's land right here. And she eventually will be picked off. Maybe not. She's just so good at escaping. Transmute not going to proc right there. She is buying so much time. Finally is going to die, but holy crap, it took them 10 seconds longer, I feel like, than they would have liked. And in the meantime, Ophelia gets picked up at the top lane. So I really think mission accomplished from Moira there.
Definitely.
Buying time.
Yep. They're about, I mean, Ogre were up by about 6.4k gold before Moira got picked off. Then she died, and then it went to 6.1. But then after the kill on Ophelia, so yeah, it was definitely in favour of Nullstone after that engagement. So yeah, they're only 5.6k down, and that's all because of the tower. All the outer towers are down except for the top one here. So yeah, I mean they're fine now. They went for Abyssal Scar and Dark Lady, which is good obviously for farming, gives them sustainability, but obviously still delays the Shrunken Head. But I don't think they're in that much rush. They've kind of lost all their towers anyway, so as long as they can hold their Rex, I'm pretty sure they can. Whether Dark Lady's got a Shrunken Head or not, I think they're going to be fine. So yeah, I guess you can go this more greedier build.
Wants to be able to farm it up, and obviously, again, that will help with that. So, speaking of Shrunken Head, though, Nox is getting very close to his. Needs about 500 more gold, or more so 400, I guess. He's 2,900 gold exactly to finish that off. Already having the Mighty Blade, of course, so that's around the corner now. Ophelia, despite having 3 deaths, 0-3-0, not a sexy hero stat line, but she is definitely doing solid here. Ring of Sorcerer, Ring of Teacher, and Astrolabe is basically doing what you would ask of an Ophelia, for the most part, at least, in the very least, so... it's good to see for them right there. Bubbles does have a portal key, though, as well as Lowstone, as well as Cthulhu Font. So they do have the 3 portal keys now. And, yeah, this is actually a decent time for Nullstone Gaming to definitely start to make plays themselves. It's been a struggling game early on, but they've kind of turned that around now, slowing it down from Shrek, and it most certainly has shown. You mentioned specifically with that Dark Lady and how she's getting closer now to the Shrunken Head. Speaking of that, too, Madman. Again, will he go the Shrunken here, or will he go the Brutalizer? He did go the Abyssal Skull first himself, which isn't necessarily usual, but...
Yeah, no. Like I said, I've always talked about, when Madman, you just pick up Shrunken Head, Brutalize, even if that's, that's all you have. And in this game, I think he's able to go a little bit more of a build-up with the Abyssal Skull because he had a very, very good time in lane, so...
Yeah. Oh, Resher gets picked off right there to see Midas finding a lonely support. Madman, is he in trouble? He is, and he's going to go down, actually. Dark Lady and Cthulhu Font doing enough to come together and pick up the kill right there. Got those Dark Blades. That's silence. It's powerful. And prevents him from stalking and using his abilities to help him get away.
Yeah, definitely. Are they going to go for this? I think they should kill this Tibian as well. Or maybe not. It was Malikan.
Yeah.
That's fine. But
be dangerous.
Yeah, still, like I said, every single pickoff they get delays any kind of push from Ogre by another minute, for example, or delays Congo by another minute, which is all all what Nelson goes. She actually goes Firebrand as well. I think she's playing with fire a little bit in that respect because, obviously she needs a Shrunken Head to take team fights, for example. Going the Abyssal Skull before Shrunken Head, I can understand that, for example, helps her farm a little bit faster, gives her sustainability. But going Firebrand as well is how much do you want to delay before going Shrunken Head kind of thing? But I guess they are holding in, to be fair. Obviously, they just took another tower as well. Was that top? Yeah, I think that was just by creeps actually. But obviously, Ogre, their sort of grip on the game has been sort of loosened after the last couple of minutes from a couple of pickoffs on the Ophelia, obviously the Madman as well. So perhaps, obviously, if Ogre are not taking team fights trying to force this, then the Firebrand is definitely the way to go. It's going to make him farm faster, for example. But if Ogre start grouping up and Dark Lady does not have a Shrunken Head because she's picked up Firebrand instead, she's definitely going to regret it.
Yeah, I will say Dark Lady, it's also probably has something to do with it. She's been feeling pretty comfortable this whole game again. She's kind of been just the one that actually has been doing well. Even with Madman's success at the top lane in the Suicide, she was still doing very well herself, as we pointed out. So they haven't really put a whole lot of focus and attention into making sure keeping her check. So, yeah, risks definitely, but if they're not going to be doing that, then it kind of makes sense here. Again, just enhancing that farm that much more. And the GPM is showing, and she's nearly caught up with the Malikan now, after being nearly 150 GPM plus down at times. So it's about 500 gold per minute, or basically around 500 gold per minute for both the carries. Now, Malikan go, of course, slightly ahead now further because of that top tower kill here by the team. And most certainly, this is that team fight that we're talking about.
And Nullstone needs to get back now. They're going to trade 2-1 for a tier 3, which is not going to be worth it. So if Ogre push this in and really try and force it, it's really going to be annoying for Dark Lady, seeing as she does not have a Shrunken Head. But she's going to try and maybe farm it. But, Ogre have actually retreated, so, yeah, that's fine at least.
Yeah.
I think even if, without a Shrunken Head on Dark Lady, it's going to be hard for Ogre to actually push high ground, because they're finding it's Portal Key, Lodestone, Portal Key, Bubbles, for example, so...
Uh-oh. Ooh, nice cover of darkness right there, and Midas is basically lost. Where did she go? Yeah, can't follow it up, so... able to avoid the initial hit and does not get transmuted, so it's going to be fine. Yeah, a little risky there. Again, it's somewhat fragile because of her build, but in the end, she survives. And, I mean, you look at her gold, 2,400 gold already saved up. So, I wouldn't be surprised if she even goes for Geometer's Bane. How confident she's feeling here, but you would think that Shrunken Head, though, would be that safe and probably good option in the end. But
particularly when Ogre are pressuring for Congo now as well. I really hope she does. She might even build into like a Frostburn, for example, now, but I really think that will backfire quite heavily because then Glacius, Ophelia, the Midas. She's been on towards Shrunken Head, so, or perhaps Shrunken Head, but either way, smart decision though from Banger.
All right, Kongor, yeah, they shell surfed in to scout it. Didn't really like what they saw and figured it's not worth the risk right there. So, Token of Life onto Malakin now. He has another 2,500 gold saved up himself. Of course, he already has his Shrunken Head, as we were stressing earlier, and again, 540 gold per minute now, 4 knock. So, now this is that time. It was one thing they sort of did it earlier at the top lane, but now they're definitely going to look to push in with that token.
Yeah.
So,
no Shrunken Dark Lady as well. I bet he wished he didn't go for the Firebrand now, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, could he sell something, but no, he definitely couldn't. What he has here, so kind of just has to wait it out and hope that they don't break through just yet. Barbed Armor finished on Lowstone. That's a good pickup for him. They also got the Soul's Bulwark on Cthulhu Font. So they have a couple of items as far as the utility goes here. That should help in this team fight.
Yeah, I mean, if Ogre can get like a Midas initiation on Dark Lady, they can blow him up instantly. They have no Storm Spirit or no Tablet on the side of Nullstone. It depends on Midas initiation, really. Or even a Malakin ulti would be enough, actually.
Ooh, Malakin up in the front lines again, though. Token, and with what he has, it's one of those tough spots of you feel like, oh, we should be going, but at the same time, it could be a trap, so...
I mean, they've got like 60% damage onto the tower as well. Though Dark Lady's not farming, she doesn't have a Shrunken Head. I think Ogre should keep on pushing with the creep wave. That'd be the smart decision.
Yeah, keep on dwindling down that tower, and mission accomplished there so far. You see Field Rod attempt in the background. There comes a cover of darkness as well as Bubbles with the Kelfield. The stomp from Cthulhu right there with the trampoline. And down goes Midas actually before he can do too much. Meanwhile, Malakin, he's being locked down by the Arcane Vortex. He finally comes out, but a lot of his teammates are already dead. It's Malakin and Madman that are left behind. Dark Lady, she's going to survive. She doesn't have a Shrunken Head, but apparently she did not need it.
Wow.
Very good coordination right there.
That was fantastic.
From Nullstone. Fantastic indeed. That cover of darkness, man, it does things that we can't see as a spectator, but I guarantee you that was a big reason for that win.
That was insane. Not only that, but Resha, that was clearly my MVP of that team fight right there. Completely zoned out Malakin with the Arcane Vortex, did a solo Arcane Vortex onto Malakin, and I mean, they just killed three of the players without Madman and Malakin doing anything in the team fights. It's great play from Nullstone, and like even without Shrunken on Dark Lady, they just coordinated that team fight perfectly. Like that was really impressive, and I mean, well, I did not expect they could do that, but they did, so really well. Props up to Nelson right there.
Absolutely. That was very well executed, and yeah, I got to agree with you too, though. Yeah, Moria locking down that Malakin, taking him out of the fight completely earlier on. He popped the ultimate at that time and then just basically saying, you know what, you're going to be locked down. How long does it last? 4 seconds? Yeah, geez, 4 seconds that Malakin was out of that fight, and that's a big difference in a big team fight like that. So,
oh, my man.
Is he in trouble at the top lane? He might be. Dark Lady goes in. There's those Dark Blades, a Song of the Sea, and Madman no longer on the map here. Now, that's got to feel good once again for Nullstone, especially how good of a start he had. But clearly, it is all in favor of Nullstone now with the momentum here.
Definitely. I mean, I still think Ogre's team fight still is very strong. But I mean, Ogre haven't been able to really take a literal like 5-on-5 team fight because Nullstone have either sort of darted him out of the sort of got a couple of pickoffs here and there. Obviously, the one team fight that was sort of 5-on-5 was middle lane, but we talk about how great the coordination was. I mean, technically, I don't think Nullstone even per se won that team fight because obviously they had to sort of back off and it wasn't able to really clean up. But regardless, so they defended the Brax and they are definitely farming very well on the Dark Lady. But they're still token on Malakin though, which they have to be careful of.
Ooh, Dark Lady. Okay, she's going to be fine. Yeah, getting caught out a little bit right there, but not enough and falls back. So. Good getaway on her part, and again, this is just another example of Dark Lady as a carry hero. If she's allowed to get the farm and it gets that rune cleaver earlier on and has just very sustained farm throughout the game. By the time you reach the mid and especially the late game, it's a huge, huge threat. Again, arguably the biggest threat out there because of her skill set with those dark blades, man. It's just so powerful, enhancing her damage and her farm and everything. So 2,400 more gold saved up again, though. So now it's going to start being more damage focused as she has that shrunken head. And you can't forget about Malikan, though. Malikan's token, by the way, still 30 seconds remaining. So that's right. Yeah, that wasn't used that last fight, but not going to be really used as far as pushing here in the end.
The Sheepstick on Midas, is going to be a massive impact though right now, because now with the Sheepstick Midas, he can portal key in Sheepstick onto the Midas, do his combo, and then if Malikan could follow up with his obviously combo as well, I think Dark Lady's still going to die actually. And the reason why he couldn't do that last time, so he didn't have the Sheepstick, and trying to sort of portal key and land your combo without sort of the reliable lockdown what Sheepstick provides, it would be very, very difficult. So with that up, they perhaps even can pressure high ground. Because, I mean, if you remember the last team fight, when they were pushing in, like, Dark Lady was up in the front without a shrunken head, but they had no way really initiate on her, even though Midas had the portal key. But now with the Sheepstick, I don't know if she's going to have the same positioning.
Yeah.
Because otherwise she's going to be punished by that Sheepstick from Midas.
What you got to see right here, so quick pause after that, and again, hopefully it's nothing too serious here.
Not like yesterday.
Yeah. No, I don't think it is. Just simply a hiccup perhaps, but I'm sure he'll be back here shortly, and we'll be good to resume. But yeah, again, Nullstone, they got to be feeling good across the board. You are right, though, Midas, with that Sheepstick. Now, you do see Bubbles getting a Sheepstick actually himself very shortly here. He has enough, I believe, for both here in the next couple of seconds. So
the one thing about the difference between the Sheepstick Midas and the Sheepstick Bubbles is that is the carry difference, really. Like trying to Sheepstick Malikan and burst him down before he gets his strung enough, for example, it's going to be a lot harder because he's obviously a lot more tankier, whereas Dark Lady is still quite fragile, and seeing as they've got almost better lockdown in that respect for Ogre with the Midas, the Malikan, even the Glaciers and the Ophelia, bursting them Dark Lady's going to be a lot easier. But I still think Nullstone could perhaps do it if they get like a low stone initiation as well, perhaps, but it's just going to be a lot harder because of that. So.
This is game one, guys. So it looks like he is back, so should be good to go here shortly. But game one of our best of three losers bracket finals. Again, the winner of this moves on to play Sync Esports later on today. Both of these teams, really, in a sense, are looking for a rematch. I mean, both actually gave Sync a great competition here on the bracket stage. Shrek faced off against them in the first round, and they lost 2-0, but both were very good games. And in Nullstone, obviously, they even went to a third game, and again, unfortunately, ended up dropping a player later on in the game, and still it could have ended up for a victory for Sync, but yeah, Nullstone wasn't a very good spot, and they just ran up just short. 4v5 is tough after all. So both are looking for that rematch. Only one of them, of course, are going to get in again. That'll be the later match today. Best of 5 with Sync up 1-0. So shout out to Counter-Strike Go, man. And I know you don't necessarily like watching Counter-Strike Go, perhaps, but
it was pretty cool. But
it was a pretty sweet event that they had over there in Katowice, I think it's called. Anyways,
Poland, Katowice.
Yeah, Poland over there. Fantastic. Had over 1 million concurrent viewers actually amongst all of their platforms and everything. So yeah, definitely. I'm a fan of the Counter Strikes, and that was cool to see. So
I think to be fair, like it was kind of like I was watching it. Like it's very easy to sort of get into. Just watch it. Like,
oh yeah.
Whereas if you don't know anything about MOBAs, for example, it's like what's going on kind of thing. But for Counter Strike, it's quite simple, which is kind of awesome to watch.
Yeah, no, it's not surprising to me to see it have numbers like that, honestly. Deserves it, and exactly, it's definitely simplified as far as being able to watch it and be entertained, so. Anywho.
I bet at a LAN event, that experience must be insane, because all the viewers must be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was cool watching the stream, but it's like you can tell like a LAN event would be 10 times better.
Definitely. Well, we'll see. Looks like, okay, back to good to go here, though, as far as this game. So, back to Heroes of New Earth. And 30 minutes into this game, so Nullstone, it's been in their momentum for the last 10 minutes, it feels like, or so. This mid-fight is what it all came down to. And ever since then, it's just been all them. So, Dark Lady, again, the focus there, 2,700 gold saved up. She's coming to the bottom lane. Yeah, they're going to try for killing a Madman down here. She has Lodestone coming. Oh, boy. Madman needs to go in now, but just waited a little bit too long, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Madman
there, unfortunately.
Yeah, see Moira going in and saying, "What's up?" Spends all his mana. That Ephemeral Forge continues to be, once again, a nuisance here. Lodestone, hell, he even has another 1,800 gold saved up. Again, this is a hero that really struggled in the laning phase, but Oscar's managed pretty solid here now.
I don't know how he's recovered that well. Like, really has. I mean, the whole of Nullstone, one thing that they're like really actually good on is actually recovering. Like, I was actually talking to what you got, and we were sort of joking about how they always feed in the laning phase and how kind of poor they are, but they always do recover, and they always do very well to the mid to late game, and it shows here because they were getting dominated. It was like 7,000-8,000 gold in favour of Ogre, but Nullstone, they've just pulled it back, and I guess it's just their style of play, but they've been very efficient in terms of farming all the map. And the biggest thing, actually, particularly when you're running this sort of hard carry style of lineup against sort of almost an all-in push from Ogre, is pushing out the lanes, and it's something that Nullstone have been very sort of obedient and sort of disciplined in doing.
Oh, bottom lane, they catch low, so speed about him. Casts Curse, in comes the cover of Darkness, though, and you see they're trying to finish him up, but now the Arcane Vortex hits. Madman gets caught by that. Midas should be able to TP out. It looks like he's going to be fine, but Madman, will he be fine is the question. The Shrunken Head definitely helping with that, and I think it's going to be enough. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to chase, stalk away. We'll be good. Meanwhile, Glacius did get picked off, though. It looks like by Bubbles, actually. Able to find him. So really a one-for-one in that sense. Lodestone did go down, but at least they get Glacius out of it. But yeah, again, that Cover of Darkness is an ability with Dark Lady too that it's very powerful for the team fights. As long as she has it up. And yeah, fairly shorter cooldown, so I expect it to be up 120 seconds, I guess. Somewhat longer, but 14 team fights, should be good to go. Bubbles, okay, take cover. There's a Calfield. He's trying to get away right here. Shell Surf, and it looks like it will be enough to get away. Both Malakin and Midas collapsing, but they can't get the kill. Malakin even ulti form right there. Wasn't able to pull it off. Yeah, he goes a Demonic Breastplate here.
Yeah, makes sense because the sieging aspects of the item will be very useful. So it's going to be helping with that. Obviously, the extra attack speed is always going to help as well. Give him crazy DPS, but I think the biggest thing though is obviously the sieging aspect, and also obviously reduces Dark Lady's damage a lot as well because obviously she's dishing out a lot of physical presence damage. So
Dark Lady, she's hunting down here. Looking for an opportunity. Instead, we'll farm some jungle creeps and also has that supporting cast nearby, so even maybe trying to play out a bait here. Ooh, they spot Madman. Will they get the jump is the question. Yes, they will. There's the silence. He pops a Shrunken, though, of course. And he's going to be fine, so not able to get the stun off. And now the turn potential. Glacius coming in as well. Darkly, she pops her Shrunken Head, though. You just look at that damage, man. Madman does not want to sit in those front grounds. Midas, he goes in, but they're already falling back at this time. Nice Sheepstick, though, into Lodestone. He's going to be caught out here and very likely going to be picked off. Yeah, he goes down pretty quickly there in the end. So the chase is successful in a sense for Shrek. At least they got something out of it.
Lodestone does have a buyback though, so they are going to at least be able to defend Rax. Congo's still down as well, so I think they should be pushing mid because the tier 1 tower for Ogre is still up. I think Null should try and push that in as much as possible while Ogre are pushing bottom if they can.
Glacius, he's looking for an opportunity. Oh, more so, he's in a bad spot. Yeah, he's going to be fine. Maybe not Taint Soul, who thought about it, but with Ophelia coming over, risky indeed. So Glacius even going to be ported back just in case. And going to be back there, perhaps purchasing some wards and whatnot. So Dark Lady, though, 5,100 gold. So we're going to find out what he's going to. You would figure he would have bought a Geometer's Bane by now, if that was the case. So I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if he just goes like more damage in terms of. Yeah, Wingbow would be really useful because Malakin is not going to be able to get a Savage Mace anytime soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, he does. So yeah, good call breaking.
Just brushing off my shoulders here. Don't mind me. I actually did it, by the way. Wish I was on camera. Anyways, no, yeah, Wingbow makes sense, exactly. The Savage Mace potential, really not there. So, speaking of that, though, Brutalizer on Madman is still not picked up. He's probably going to get it here, though, I would think.
Yeah, that line's too good not to have it on, almost regardless of the state of the game, to be fair. So, you'd hope.
Yeah. Malakin finishing off the Ancients, another 1,900 for him. So, again, has that Demonic Breastplate, as we talked about, his most recent item. Moira has 1,500 gold saved up. We know Insania playing the Moira recently loves to get that portal key, so we'll see if he eventually gets that or not, with the potential of gold being around there. Void Talisman picked up by Midas in the meantime. Seems like this is becoming a little bit more of a popular item. I know it's always had potential to be good, but it did get changed now where it's a build-up. It requires a major totem here, and I wonder if that maybe made it a little more, okay, you know, provides a little more here. It's 1340 gold. I mean, get it for that physical immunity.
He might even, I mean, I think it's really important for Dark Lady as well. Like when you go against Dark Lady, if you get like charging strikes, for example, with Dark Blades, obviously, Dark Blades will always be activated when she charges strikes. But if you're in that sort of in the firing line, you've got to probably get one shot in that respect. So it's really important to actually have that up, even for Midas as well. Honestly, you realise how important it is. And oh, there's smokes up actually.
Yeah, look at this Dark Lady as well. I think this is bait, ladies and gentlemen. This is pretty obvious right here. And Ogre not going to fall for that as well. They go in now. Sheepstick on a Dark Lady. Look at the damage, actually. Pretty good amount just from Midas alone. Kind of shows you what they can do, but the shadows are kind of... Here comes the cover of darkness, and what a turn right there from Nullstone Gaming. Shrunken heads go off, but Malakin got bursted before he knew it right there. Midas going to go for the TP. He should be finding the illegal misses coming out because of the Void Talisman. But holy crap, what a jump from Nullstone, and boom, went the dynamite.
That wasn't even Dark Lady's damage either. That was just Lodestone and the Cthulhu and Bubbles. Oh my god, that was insane burst damage. And that's Lodestone not even level 6 either. Jeez, that was... I can't believe Malakin died that quickly. I obviously didn't get Shrunken Head off, but still, that was ridiculous. And now Nullstone in a very, very good position to take this game, I think, with Token now given to Dark Lady as well, most likely. Wow, that was insane.
You know, again, we saw at the beginning of that fight, you know, Midas going in, he got a transmute off, he actually did some good damage on the Sheepstick as well on top of that to Dark Lady, and took about a third of her life away just by himself, and it, you know, kind of makes you think, like, if they actually committed to that and jumped her quickly, that could have been a quick burst onto her, but it was like Midas kind of chose to do it by himself, the communication wasn't necessarily there, and...
There was no follow-up. The only follow-up they can have... Oh, actually, Glacius is dead, but the only follow-up they can have is Malakun possession. That's the only thing that I can follow up, really. Unless the Fiddly has like a Minotaur stun, for example, because that's the only thing that's going to make sure that Dark Lady's locked down enough so she cannot use the Shrunken Head. Because obviously when you're feared from the Malakun, you cannot use items, so Shrunken Head, obviously Geo's is not going to be able to be used when that is the case. And unfortunately, Malakun was not on point with his positioning either. They are going to kill Fuzzy Sloth though, top lane. So.
Yep. Good collapse onto him. We get Midas and Madman coordinating together right there, and the Sheepstick, that led the way for an easy kill. But yeah, again, we see the power of the Sheepstick. You're stressing that you catch the Dark Lady, you get that follow-up from Malakin, that definitely something can happen. So I think for Shrek, although obviously that was a big fight for Nullstone and Shrek definitely losing that one, at least they learned a little bit right there, if anything, that, okay, they can burst down this Dark Lady. They just need to get that coordination working on and make sure they're all on the same page here.
Just execution, because I think if Malakin follows up, like, they're probably going to kill Dark Lady as well. That's like 2 seconds of extra fear on top of the Sheepstick, not even including the transmute stuns as well. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, that was without Malakin's damage. And, yeah, I just think Malakin was out of position, for example, and that's why sometimes we do see Portal Key Malakin, because it is very, very useful and can have a big impact. I don't think we're going to see it here, because to be fair, actually, if there is going to be a game for Portal Key Malakin, I think it should be this game, because Madman gives you the extra sort of security of extra late game damage that you don't have to be all in carry. You can have a little bit of initiation as well. And so, yeah, I think if we're gonna see it, I hope to see it this game, because it makes sense, honestly. Because Madman can offer a lot of damage. So.
No, I agree. I definitely 100% agree. Again, that last fight, like I said, if anything they learned from that, it's like, well, you know, we do need a Portal Kill Malakin because we need that follow-up initiation. So, yeah, I would not be surprised to see that coming up, and we'll find out here shortly with the amount of gold he does have saved up. But now you got a Token of Life on Dark Lady, of course. Has about 250 remaining on it currently. Frostburn finished on top of her. You got 2,000 gold saved up. So, yeah, she's continuing to get bigger and better, as you would expect. Possibly going to see that full Dawnbringer. Port coming in. It's just the one, though. Dark Lady, yeah, she's like, I mean, if it's just one, I might stay around. And so whoever that was, it eventually gets canceled. Whether that was just simply the intention trying to scare them off, or that was just bad communication. Something didn't work out there, and eventually the tower goes down anyway. So, will they keep going is the question. Again, they still have that token for 220 here.
Interesting thing, actually. I don't know if Nullstone are going to do. Like, you can see all their team support, obviously, Cthulhu and Lodestone sort of sitting behind Dark Lady. One thing that actually is really kind of innovative that I saw actually the Thai teams do actually is that they have their sort of hard carries sieging the base like this down bottom, and then just on this cliff here they'll actually be all smoked up. Whether Ogre will realise that the team support is behind him is one question, but it makes sure that Ogre do not have a 3 jump on top of the team back support because they already used the Veiled Rot. It's a really sort of creative thing that I've seen the Thai teams do, and it can work out here as well, because if Miners can get to the back lines or maybe the Lodestone I think is the biggest impact, then it doesn't matter what kind of damage Dark Clay is doing. So that could be even the jump that Ogre are looking for if they can catch perhaps the back line, seeing as Dark Lady's got token. So
huh. He jumped in right there, but nope. No, we did not. Madman AC, he's farming elsewhere for the time being. Moira going in with a stun right here at the illusion of hers. Sheepstick on a Midas in the meantime. Midas, he's being bursted pretty heavily right here. Dark Lily, they're shrugging this up. Malikan, though, comes in with his ulti for him. He's doing some good damage. There's a cover of darkness. In comes the Arcane Vortex as well. Dark Lily is caught in the midst of that as well as Malikan. Dark Lily running away as soon as she comes out. Lowstone bursted down. Dark Lily just wants to get the hell out of there. She will die, though, with that token used. Now the Sheepstick comes out, and she will be bursted down to follow. They overcommitted right there, and that showed big time. No buybacks even necessary for Shrek, and that's never a good sign. So Shrek holds big time, and now they're going to counter push here. As we do have buybacks on both Lotus and all the heroes that are dead, but just forcing it, that's big news for Shrek.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that Nullstone aren't good at, it's actually seizing the base, because first of all, their targeting in terms of who they jumped on was the Glaciers, which is obviously the person you do not want to be jumping on because he's kind of just completely useless in the late game right now. And not only that, but they dived well too deep. They was diving near the tier 4s, for example, and just gave Ogre a lot more time to actually sort of think who to target and actually sort of win the team fight after that. They actually left Dark Lady till last because obviously she had token, and when she came back up, she killed him again. So. Yeah.
Oh. That was interesting. Going in right there, kind of toying with Madman. Them distracted, clearing out the creep wave as much as they can. Ideally, they don't want to have to use the buybacks, of course, if they don't have to. Cthulhu Fauna Lodestone won't need to. They just naturally resurrect. You got Dark Lily. That's the question. Of 20 seconds remaining. Won't be necessary. You already see Shrek falling back, and yeah, it's pretty understandable. It's with 4 up. It's even without Dark Lily and that little time, it's just not worth it. So they fall back. So as far as a Nullstone getting really hurt by that. I mean, it sucked that they lost that, sure, but it wasn't the biggest deal necessarily. They still have a lead and still should feel pretty good about their chances. But yeah, now, speaking of learning from your mistakes in fights, learning to, not to overcommit as much as they did. And yeah, the target, like you pointed out, we want to focus on here. So, but you got some big follow-up items now coming up for both Madman and Malikan. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Rift Shards. There we go. That's a big item.
Nice.
Level 3.
Yeah, it does really nice because you can actually crit from your charging strikes as well, so it has the possibility to do mass amount of AoE damage actually if you get some good charging strikes onto say 3 or 4 members of Ogre. Some big pickups actually is the 2 Storm Spirits here from Bubbles and Lodestone. So the initiation, or really the counter initiation, is going to be played completely different now as well, because we're talking about the Rift Shots here. I've been telling him a lot about the Rift Shards damage compared to sort of Savage Mace damage, and he's saying it, man. He knows about the Rift Shards damage. But the Storm Spirits, for example, from Bubbles and Lodestone, it's going to play a really big, impactful lineup here, because if Ogre do have, they do have to jump on say Darkly, for example. The Storm Spirits from both Bubbles and Lodestone, for example, I don't think they're going to be able to kill Dark Lady now, and so I think the Rift Shards pickup, although very, very risky, I think it's going to pay off because they've got counterplay if she does get initiated on. So.
Oh yeah. No, it's Rift Shards. It's obviously your hands are in the Han Gods in that sense, but with how fast she's attacking, especially, it's bound to do good work throughout the fights, and expected to at least proc a couple of times every time you jump somebody. So she's gonna pop a Veiled Rot right here, as well as several people on the team. Looks like Bubble's the only one without it, just kind of scouting out, making sure to set themselves up for what possibly could be a Conqueror here. I would think he's going to be coming up in the near future. They're going to try to find somebody, though. Ophelia was nearby, but I think she fell back just before she could get caught, so not going to be able to do much there. I'm still an advocate about, I know I've brought this up a couple of times here and there, but Ophelia at this point in the game, maybe trying to prioritize more aura-based minions rather than the stun minions, the Minotaurs, the Skeleton Kings. I can see because they are
Skeleton
always
Kings
pretty
are really
good.
important.
But
Skeleton Kings is going to be really useful.
Like the army that she has right now, Vulture and 2 Minotaur, I think you could argue that like a Wolf Commander, an Ice Ogre, and maybe the Vulture Lord still would be better, but I don't know.
Vulture Lord is good because it stops actually the blinks from all of them, perhaps all top lane. I think he just shrunk. I think he shrunk and TB'd out. I think Madman did.
Oh, did he? Okay,
he shrunk it on cooldown, so that's what I assume anyway. But yeah, no, I think you're right as well. The Wolf Commander will be like a massive damage boost, actually. The Minotaurs really aren't... it's hard to say that because, for example, like, say, if they sheepstick onto someone, say, for example, say the Dark Lady, for example, and they time it perfectly and they can chain lock him down with, like, the second stun from the Minotaurs as well. It can play a really big impact, and, yeah, it's really, really hard to say, don't get me wrong, but I think Wolf Commanders definitely should be in the mix, though, because the extra damage bonus you get from that is really, really big.
Yeah.
Like 30% plus base damage, I think it is just insane. So.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's a very powerful aura. I know again it's not the biggest radius, but again, especially if you're being sieged in your base or if you're sieging the base, just having it nearby, close enough to in a hold position that if it dies, so be it. But hey, at least it's enhancing your guys' damage. I just feel like these Minotaurs, especially like they're probably just honestly going to die before they even do much in these fights. Let alone
Glacius.
So, Glacius, yeah, what he's even doing down there. Is he actually going to get away?
He got stunned. He got stunned, but he didn't realize.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
he actually got
stunned
hit by the
the
shards. Okay.
The shards Harkon, yeah.
Wow, I thought he was actually going to get away.
Because I think the shards Harkon, they actually proc whether you have vision of them or not. It's all about radius. So.
That's true, yeah. So good find right there. Again, what Cluckmuck was doing, pushed up that far by himself, maybe just warding and whatnot, but in a bad spot, gets picked up. You see right there, Dark Lady critting for 1,000+ damage. So yeah, she's hitting pretty damn hard. Now you do see the Savage Mace on Malakin. It looks like Madman is actually going to be picking up his shortly here. He actually wants to make sure he has enough for a buyback though before he secures his. So going to be a little bit more time. Storm Spirit on Ophelia, very powerful combo for her, of course. Midas, 3,500 gold saved up. So we got a lot of gold being pulled up on either side here. 3,600 on Bubbles, 2,900 on Dark Lady. Going to have another tier of items for a lot of players in this game right now. But Kongor, that's going to drop pretty damn fast here. And that will be a Kongor kill for Nullstone. That means bananas, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I think actually Dark Lady should drop her Frostburn and take token.
No, she's not going to.
No. Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I say that is because, I mean, technically it's not an item, and you'll kind of be losing an item to pick up token, but I think it will give him, like, she's got enough damage, like, whether she drops the Frostburn or not. Like, the Frostburn isn't really doing too much, really, in the late game for her at the moment, and token could just be massive, like, help him siege the base, for example. If she does die, she's going to come up and do so much damage, and with this somewhat greedy pickup of the Rift Slide, now, I do agree with it, don't get me wrong, but she still can get bursted down if her team support is not with her in terms of the Storm Spirit. So the token just gives them that. Like Frostburn gives like 16 strength, 16 agility, 10 damage. That's like really, really poor, really, in the late game, seeing as how farmed she already is. But token, like a second Dark Lady, really, in a team fight is just humongous. So.
Yeah.
I mean, a second Bubbles is good and all, but I mean, clearly just the Dark Lady. Like, I really would like to sort of see her just drop an item to token. I just think
it's definitely a give and take argument. I mean, again, it would require her to drop one of those items, and it's honestly any of those items. There's good justification to keep at the same time.
Yeah, so. Frostburn is really weak though. Like if you look at the actual stats it gives, 16 strength, 16 agility, 10 damage, and like some extra movement speed, and like 20 attack speed. It's very, very little. She's probably going to set it for even like a similar rage later in the game anyway. But yeah, it's whatever. I just think if she does die in a team fight, like that's like
we'll look at that.
Yeah, exactly. Like Nullstone's team fight is Dark Lady, like 90% Dark Lady. So
yeah,
you kill her, you win team fight.
And it will force her to play a little bit different too. Where she had the tug, she could be a little more ballsy.
Yep.
Since she doesn't though, may change that up. So yeah, we'll see if it comes back to hurt them or not. But you see, using the Villain Route right here, they want to find something top lane. Madman though, he's hiding. And he should be good. I know he's buying one of the Warhammers, so he just needs the other one to finish the Savage Mace. I'm pretty sure he could do it and still have buyback, so not too sure what he's waiting on here. I guess simply to get back to base, if anything, but just making sure.
I don't think he would have buyback. 1,600 gold will drop him down to like 1,800 plus death money is like 500-600.
Yeah.
That would be like only 1.2. It'd be close. It'd be really close. So. Risky close.
True. Bottom lane, you see Nullstone making the way down here to kind of push back the creep wave. That's pushing out. So, excuse me, guys. 50 minutes into this game right now. It's 30 hero kills combined. It really feels like Nullstone especially. This games that they're involved in are going to be perhaps a little bit longer games and, a little more drawn out. Not the most action kill-based games necessarily. They're kind of taken over as what used to be the complexity TDM days and whatnot.
Yeah.
Tina loves to farm on that carry and make sure to protect her, and in this case that Dark Lady, and that's showing. So again, they are coming off that fight where they tried to push into the base. That didn't work out in their favor. They pushed a little too far, so keeping that in mind too. No racks, have been destroyed either at this point in the game. So really, Archon Blade. All right. Hey, Malikan, it seems like a good pickup.
It's the most efficient DPS armament for a bubble, seeing as he's fighting out so much physical armor, and his sort of damage itself isn't actually that high. So the sort of attack in terms of magic damage is actually a lot more effective, seeing as Malikan, as you said, has a lot of armor. It's got 35 armor at the moment, only 5.5 magic armor, which is going to be reduced to like 0 anyway. So because of the Harkon spec. So yeah, I really do like it though. Makes a lot of sense. It would actually give Bubbles a little bit of a threat, actually, for the Madman and Malikan.
Yeah.
So, makes sense.
All right. A big fight's brewing down here. Token of Life on Bubbles for about a minute remaining now. And you see Midas, though, able to pretty much clean up the creep wave damn quickly there.
This is where it's awkward. Like, if Dark Lady had tokens, she could be right-clicking that tower right now. And at the moment, she's very, very afraid to do so because they've got Sheepstick on Midas and obviously all the jump from Malikan as well. And the token on Bubble, seeing as he picks up Harkon's Blade as well, which does not work on towers, them sieging a base is very, very slow. So
yeah.
Now I'm going to back off. And this is the reason why I wanted to see Dark Lady have a token. But as a result, they're going to back off, going to maybe try and find a pick-off before they try and go high ground, but whether that will happen or not is another question.
I think that stat right there is very telling of how passive a team Nullstone tends to be. It's basically a great example of that, because not only do they average the longest games, up there, I guess, with Reason even tied to an extent, but then they have the average, though, the second fewest deaths per game. Sync's the only one less, but you would figure with Sync, though, their games finish a lot quicker, because, they're usually pretty good at taking out their opponents quickly and taking care of business, so... Nullstone tends to be the passive kind of team here as far as having action. So, but you see Masser also feeling it. Now, as I say that, Madman, he's going to figure out how the weather is, and it's gloomy, man. Madman, it goes down right there. No Shadow Storm even needed for the explosion. So,
interesting iron build from Dark Lady, by the way. Dropped her Rune Cleaver to pick up Gunjuro instead, and then she builds into the Dawnbringer.
Yeah.
That's interesting, but I don't know, I've got mixed feelings about that, really, because the Rune Cleaver synergizes just so well with Dark Lady. Really, really well, also because you can actually cleave while you're doing Charge and Strike, which is a cleave in itself anyway, so, if Madman and Malikan, for example, are clumped up, you can do just tons and tons of damage. But, with that being said, this is going to give her a lot better single target damage. Not only that, it's going to give her extra mobility, which I think is going to be quite useful against Malikan and Madman. Malikan, because you can actually sort of kite him quite a lot, which is his biggest weakness, and obviously the Madman as well. He's kind of hard to actually catch as well. But with the Gunjuro, gives you the ability to do that. So, yeah, makes sense. But their problem of sieging the base is still going to be kind of hard to do, seeing as that Bubbles is no longer the token.
God, it's, I know Darkwood is farmed out of her mind, but Malikan and Madman even are pretty damn farmed too. And we saw Madman again the other day, just how powerful he can be. And I think that actually was by Nullstone, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was Beaverbanger.
Yeah, it was Beaverbanger. So, yeah, he himself obviously knows the potential. And there's items similar to this now, the Savage Mace, the Brutalizer, the Shrunken Head alone, those 3 items. It's ridiculous how hard and fast he can hit. So, yeah, Darkly, as farmed as she is, she's definitely not, can't feel too confident. You mentioned they got a lot of support around, of course, and a lot of things will come into play. But it's understandable at the same time. I know I'm kind of giving crap a little bit to Nullstone as far as being passive here and whatnot, but you can't blame them. They can't just necessarily just charge into the base here and win the game just because they have a farm Darkly. That's very evident with how things are looking right now. So,
I think the biggest thing actually what will happen in the team fights anyways is whether Nullstone gets a good Shatter Storm off. Because if he gets a good Shatter Storm off, he could be one of the best late game kind of initiators, really, because of the 100% armor and magic armor pierce. That is ridiculous. Dark Lady's creating for 1.2, 1.3 without or the creeps that have a couple of bits of armor, but you take that away from them as well. and you'll be doing that 1.4 to like Malakun, for example. And I mean, she's attacking very fast as well, so you can burst down Malakun easy. But here comes the bad rot, though.
Oh, this is interesting. Now, she just happened to use a Kachira. Now, Bound Eye will spot her. She's going to open in the middle lane. No, she's going back over here because here we go with Initiation. Moira picked off right away. Cover of Darkness came out. That's going to make the Legion team kind of fall back in panic mode, but you realize...
Well, that was really lucky of them.
Yeah.
But they only killed Moira. like Dark Lady used Gunjuro just before. If she died, that would have been actually... I don't know if she would have had a buyback. She might have, actually. But regardless, though. I mean, Ogre are pushing in, though, and happy with that pickoff. I don't know if they should be, though, because a Shatterstorm Lodestone, if he catches 4 or 5 Dark Lady's going to just one-shot them all, honestly. So they need to be careful of their positioning here.
How about this? Shrek is pushing in right now, and they're in a pretty good spot to do so, you feel like. That tower getting fairly low already. Actually, Bubbles jumps on a Glacier in the background. Here we go with the Harkon's play. Shatterstorm coming in as well. Dark Lady jumping in, and Malakun pops a Shrek in. But Malakun, the crit's happening right there. He goes down. Dark Lady is going to remain alive in good health right here, and you just see the crits. 1,500 pluses coming out.
That Shatterstorm, oh my god.
The minus armor, yeah. That wrecked.
100% magic and physical armor piece breaking. That Dark Lady killed Malakun in 3 hits. 3 hits they killed Malakun because of that. Oh my goodness. We were talking about, Lodestone effectiveness and why we don't see him a lot, but in the late game, his presence is clearly shown when you have Dark Lady on your team. Like I said Ogre had to be wary because although Moira was dead, a good Lodestone ulti is just going to wipe him because Dark Lady's going to kill all of them, and that's exactly what they did. So, oh my god.
They're going to try to go for the burst on a Dark Hood again. They have potential themselves. Here's a counterplay, though. Nice Torres Spirit. Dark Hood going back in and expect those right clicks to once again. Another 2 shots to Ophelia. Going for Midas. He has a Void Talisman, so he will stay alive a little bit, but not for long. He goes down. Madman, he's forced to go back. Malakun did buyback as well. Pops the ulti for him. Madman puts the auto attack. That was an illusion, though. Now go for Cthulhu. Look at Dark Hood. He's looking for the opening, waiting for the time. He goes on to Malakun, but no, he's taking some good damage himself. Dark Hood, man, to fall right here. He does go down. Madman will die, though, in the process. Mana Sunder on Malakun. Moira, though, she's going to try to go for the portal, and actually she will be successful with it thanks to that Void Talisman. So the buybacks happen. They do eventually hold it off. They do kill the Dark Lady, but definitely you still feel like Nullstone, pretty good spot here, even though no racks, once again, still have been destroyed just yet.
You see the impact that Lodestone has, though. Like, Dark Lady in that team fight, she went on the Malakun and just wasn't doing barely anything to Malakun, and that's because obviously the Shatterstorm was not applied to Malakun, and I think really Nullstone should be only fighting when Lodestone ultimate is up because it just has such big implications in terms of damage in the team fights. It really, really does. And so, as a result, I mean, Dark Lady does die, but at least she did force out the buyback, and she's still got 2 buybacks herself. So, yeah, they're going to be good without a doubt. Kongor is up now. They're going to probably take that when Dark Lady does survive. But, yeah, you just see the difference between Shatterstorm and no Shatterstorm, particularly from Dark Lady's damage on the Malakun. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they need that to be big, definitely. Not having the cover of darkness for that pushing as well, no doubt playing a role. So, yeah, it's understandable as to why they were able to be held off there. And despite them dominating in the fight just previous to that with Shrek trying to push in. So, we are getting close to that hour mark here. And again, can't say too surprised with the way this game's been going. A lot of back and forth. There we go with Brave Shards. Malkin's like, you know what? It's working so well for you. I might as well pick some up myself now. Currently has level 1, so only level 1, still has the crit chance at least. Wanted to get that up, though. Of course, using a buyback, definitely slowing that down a little bit.
Look at this Minus Orbiter in the Hellborn base. This could be Haps do some crazy post-haste plays with like Malakun and Madman. We saw the all-in play from, actually, it was Ogre, wasn't it, against Min the other day, so perhaps they're getting ready for desperation play. Shout out to Quincy for catching that one, actually. Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, that's a very good point. And I wonder if, yeah, no, they really have no reason to believe that anything's there. I mean, it's, not the most usual thing. So, understandable that it stayed alive for now. Yeah, we'll see if that plays a role or not. Eventually, Kongor being attempted, but you could tell Nullstone, they're of course not going to let that go easy. They are going to be ready to defend. They are the Hellborn team after all as well. And they're already going to the vicinity. Moira sends a new illusion with that portal key to kind of scout things out and going to spot a couple of people here. But Midas also has his own illusions up that are giving them information. So it's going to be a battle at Kongor. A 4th Kongor kill would be the case if he happens to be destroyed here. And, of course, once again, bananas to come. on top of the Token of Life. I'm looking at golds being saved up here, and definitely quite a bit on the side of Nullstone, specifically Lodestone and Bubbles here. Have a fair amount of gold. Bubbles only has the 1 buyback left. Lodestone still has his 2. But wondering if maybe could invest that gold into another bigger item here. I guess there's nothing that's really coming to mind that would be good to pick up with that gold, so makes sense. But you see here, once again, they're going to the Congo. Madman great at that, especially with this build here. And it's dying pretty quickly. Well, not quickly enough,
Madness.
though.
What? They stopped.
I don't know why they stopped. Yeah, I think
the
illusion kind of threw them off there. Lodestone, okay, he scuts it. Yeah, they're second guessing themselves. But I mean, they don't really have the most of it. They got the ward sight in the middle lane.
Dark Lady should ult and go in, but too late now.
Yeah. Now, they're still on the ground, actually. In the meantime, Midas jumps on a Dark Lady off to the side. Here comes the kind of play. No, he got the striking it off. Storm Spirit on a Dark Lady. She's in a little bit of trouble. There's Smalkin, though. He takes a Sheep Stick. He got the ulti up, but now Dark Lady going in with the auto attack. Shadow Storm, and boom goes that Dynamite. And look at Malkin just dropped shortly after. Dark Lady able to get out of there as well. Madman getting low. He may fall. No, he's going to be good for now. He has a token, by the way. He puts the barrel out, but he will go down when it's all said and done. And I don't know if he's going to be able to get away right here. No, too much lockdown. He goes down. Yeah, once again, seeing the Shatter Storm, it's just crazy. When it happens, like, they just drop right after that.
They just drop, and they're going to force out the... Oh, no, Mannequin has a buyback. Neither does Madman.
Nope. Yeah, no, that's game.
Oh, my God.
That's game.
This could even... Yeah, I don't know. Unless Madman is really close to a buyback. I don't know how close it's going to be. He's got it now. That's how it
they got the tower kill. Yeah, that's big. Madman does have a buyback now, so that's huge, though. The creep's doing enough to get the tower kill. Just giving him enough. But, I mean, you have to, right? Like, there's no point not to buy back here.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I guess just him and Midas even, it wouldn't really do much, but it's like, why not just concede then if that's the case?
maybe you wait out 2 racks. And Malikan's... Malikan's up in 50 seconds. Yeah, you're going to probably have to forfeit 2 racks, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they just say, screw it, it's done. I mean, you look at the bottom lane, that creep wave, man. You see Mora even using the Arcane Vortex to slow them down. Oh, Cthulhuphon gets caught right here, but no, he gets ported back, and Cthulhuphon able to trample away. So,
but man, this Shatter Storm is just MVP every single team fight breaking. Like, you see it comes off, like, the team fight happens, yeah, you know, they go toe-to-toe, and it's kind of even Shatter Storm goes off and everything just dies from Ogre. Everything just drops. Because because Dark Lady does 1 charging strikes and just 1-shots every one of them. When they have 0 armor, and man, it's just ridiculous. Lodestone in the late game just doing so much work.
You know, so the Conquer kill was also very interesting too, because when it happened, I mean, that's when the fight started to engage. Now, the Token and Bananas actually were on the ground for a little bit. They were fidgeting with their items, trying to figure out what they wanted to drop. I think Madman and Malikan both were, and that kind of threw things off a little bit. So they were late to the fight as well, and that meant Midas was kind of by himself initially on top of that. So. The Conquer kill obviously great for Shrek that they got it, but it also was pretty good timing by Nullstone to make the fight start there, because it did actually kind of panic them in a sense. So, yeah, whatever it was, though, obviously many things went the way of Nullstone. Again, the Shadow Storm, no doubt, the big part of that, and leading to a victory in the fight. 6,100 gold saved up on this Dark Lady. She's farming 682 gold per minute right now. You're at a spot. I mean, she still has 9 seconds on the striker. She's already rebought that, I guess, once, and she has full inventory. I mean, she really doesn't need to buy anything. We're at the spot like yesterday where you might as well start thinking about couriers, but obviously she has 2 buybacks still, so that's important. But
yeah, but no, I mean, she's still got a long way to go in terms of inventory. Though, like, she can just pack out like a full kitted like courier, cheap sticks, codexes, resto stones, frostful plates, everything kind of thing, puzzle boxes, just kit out, man. He's like the most expensive courier ever.
Pimp that courier out.
Yeah, pimp that. Man, that was a great TV show. You know that.
Pimp my ride.
Yeah, Pimp my ride. Exhibit, man. Exhibit. That was a sick TV show, wasn't it?
Great. That was MTV in its prime right there.
Yeah, man.
Freaking so Pimp My Ride. That and the house show, whatever it's Cribs. Yeah, good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Middle lane? Nope. We're just harassing with the illusion. Well, I mean, this has to be, this is a deciding moment right here, because Obviously, top and middle
It's-
cleaned up, so.
It all comes on, but all goes back to the Shatterstorm from Lodestone, though. That's all it comes down to. Every single team fight for the last 20 minutes has been the Shatterstorm and Lodestone, and it's going to be the same here as well. If he gets a good one off, then yeah, they're going to win it. If he gets a bad one off, then I'm pretty sure Ogre are going to take it, because Dark Lady is going to go toe-to-toe with two different carries that are practically all kitted out now. So it's got to come down to Lodestone for Dark Lady to sort of go toe-to-toe with them.
I think of a Madman here, I honestly would sell and rebuy a Shrunken Head. I mean, I know he wants buyback too, but it's 5 seconds. You might as well get 10 seconds. Anyways, here we go. Malakin and Cheapstick off the bat. There's a Shadow Storm. No, the Storm Spirit goes off, so we'll mitigate that at least. And now Loso taking some good damage. Malakin still standing his ground. They catch Dark Lady. Dark Lady dropping pretty fast. She does not have the life steal, and she goes down in the end. She needs to strike it, but it didn't matter. Arcane Vortex, it's not going to really be enough right here. Down goes Lodestone. Cthulhu Font's going to fall, and they will hold on the Legion side. So, but again,
those Storm Spirits, oh my god, that was insane. Madman and Malika did not get targeted by the Shatterstorm. That's why it went so well for him. Their carries did not get touched by the 100% armor piece, and as a result, Dark Lady just was very, very weak in terms of her damage, honestly, and that's why they won that team fight.
I also think we're realizing too, Dark Lady, again, they're still in a great spot. This is still their game to lose in a sense. But oh my god, they're porting in. Right. Yeah, I got distracted right there. You talk about there's that Minotaur, coming into play with the post haste. Now they have to fall back. Obviously, the buybacks happen, and they will get back on out of there. So at least they force the buybacks, and that's the good news. Now Moira, however, the Void Talisman, but he still will get the stun off, of course, Dark Lady. However, that Void Talisman gonna really make it a counter in that sense. That's why he got it, of course, and I think he should be fine in getting away. Yeah, he's good to go. But what was I saying though? Damn it. Something about Moira. Was it about Moira? No, it wasn't about Moira.
Dark Lady.
I'm all over the place now. No. This is what it was. Dark Lady. Dark Lady. Now, we talked about the Genjiro pickup, and again, it's kind of an interesting pickup, and am I right? That's right. No, but she doesn't have the lifesteal, and I think we've seen that now a couple of these times, too, in this fight. I mean, they have an Abyssal Skull, but not having a Whispering Helmet and a Symbol of Rage especially is definitely playing dividends, too.
Yeah. That's why I thought when she had the Frostburn, I thought she was going to sell that just for Symbol of Rage. It would give her sort of the tankiness that she kind of needs, but obviously the most importantly, lifesteal aspect. Like, you're playing against sort of two carries. If you want to go toe-to-toe with them, like, you have to be building the Symbol of Rage. But with that being said, though, like, they're winning these team fights because of the burst potential that Lodestone was offering with the Shatterstorm. Like, it's kind of weird to say, but like Dark Lady, she's kind of like a bursty carry in that respect. Like, whenever she pops the Dark Blades and then the Charging Strikes, that's kind of all of her damage, obviously. Without the Charging Strikes, without the Dark Blade, she doesn't really offer too much in terms of right click, as a lot of arrow carries really do. So if it's not they can coordinate these initiations from Nullstone, they are going to be okay whether Dark Lady has life still or not. But obviously, if the initiation goes bad, then definitely she's going to need Symbol of Rage. But I don't know if Dawnbring is off. Dawnbring, I don't think it offers too much really in the late game. Actually, there might be an engagement here though.
Yeah, Bubbles, he thought he had an opportunity. I mean, he had a chance for the Kelfield, but this is close back and forth. What's going on down here? They will find, actually. They find Ophelia, so not the biggest target necessarily, but she doesn't have a buyback. That's the Storm Spirit, you're right,
yeah. The reason why they won the last team fight is because she Storm Spirited Malakin to make sure he didn't get Shatstormed. But without that, I don't know. I think the team fight could go completely different or in favour of Nullstone now.
That's true. Well, here we go, 55 seconds on that Resurrection. So, yeah, they will not have the Storm Spirit. That's the big thing. Yeah, the heal's obviously nice, too. Going to pour back, good to have. But other than that, Ophelia definitely has tapered off at this point as far as being a very impactful late-game hero. So, again, probably the least important target in that sense, but at the same time, yeah, the Storm Spirit, it's big at the same time. So, they're pushing in a little bit more in the background, kind of distracting them. You look at the top and the middle, though. Yeah, that's the creep ways doing work. Dark Lady, she does get caught out by the transmute. Going to be fine. The Arcane Vortex in the background, delaying them a little bit as well. So they're just playing the delay game. There's the opening from Dark Lady. She gets hit by the Malkin. But Malkin just melts. And GG, well played. Game 1 will go to Nullstone Gaming. A 70-minute game just about. Mega Creep spawn, and that'll do it. Whew, what a game to kick it off for the day. Crazy indeed, man.
Definitely crazy, but again though, you remember the start of the game, Ogre were completely dominating it, but Nullstone, they seem to have this playstyle where they do so bad in the early game and then they just bring it back for some great team fight and some great carry on the back of Beefbanger, honestly, and yeah, just really well played, and Ogre perhaps maybe didn't push their advantage when they had the opportunity, but I mean, one thing's shown Breaky, those Shatterstorms from Oscar are just having such a big impact. You saw the team fights with it and team fights without it, and just that was the reason why they were winning those team fights, honestly.
Yeah. No, it's again we stress the idea of a Lodestone was the reason why we didn't see him as much as a suicide option, and he's kind of showing earlier on he was struggling with deaths and whatnot, not having the best time, but. As far as team fight impact and, again, his burst potential himself, he does provide plenty throughout the game, into the later game even, as we saw there, definitely. So, still a hero by all means to consider being picked up in a lineup if you can work it in. And Nullstone proving that point here. But, again, ladies and gentlemen, we're just getting started here for today. And that's going to do it for game number 1. But game number 2 going to be coming up after a short break right here. Shrek versus Nullstone. Here in this best out of 3, guys, losers bracket finals, seeing who plays Sync later on today. Right now, Nullstone in the driver's seat, but Shrek, they definitely are going to come out fighting, I'm sure. Going to be an interesting game number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. The Onslaught coverage continues here on Honcast. Coming up shortly.